we go.
Got him?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Oh,
Decent
that's
fish.
a nice bass. Nice bass, Al. Come and give you a hand here.
Good fish. Good fish.
That is a beauty.
Yeah, that's a good one. There we go.
All right. Nice work, my friend. Right where he should have been.
Yeah, right where it was.
On today's show, we're going to be on one of Minnesota's top bass fisheries, Leech Lake, Minnesota. And this lake is getting more and more attention all the time for serious bass anglers. It's a massive amount of water. It holds several tournaments each year. The size of the fish is impressive. There isn't much not to love about this lake. Lots of options, lots of different patterns. And with me is a gentleman who's spent as much time out in this lake fishing bass as anybody, my friend Al Maas. We're going to share a lot of great tips on fishing this magnificent fishery on today's show.
Jason Mitchell Elite Series Rods brings you the Daily Log Entry.
I threw the crayfish colored in here the other day.
There's a good fish.
There you go. Got it.
There.
That's
Whoa,
a good one.
Look at that one.
Yeah, good one. Neat, Chase. Oh yeah, there's a dandy.
Yeah, that's a dandy there, huh?
You bet.
All right. There, thank you.
You bet. Healthy fish, Chase.
That is a nice fish.
Let's get this done right here.
That's a beauty. You know, and a lot of times when we're out here, there's a lot of wild rice on Leech Lake, and that usually keys a lot of the bass location. And so typically you cannot go wrong fishing the wild rice, and there's no shortage of it, just a maze of jungle that you can fish that'll hold a lot of bass. But you were describing earlier how right now this is the maturity of that wild rice. It's laying over flat. It isn't offering as much cover, and as a result you guys have had to shift gears, so to speak, the last week or so, where you're finding a lot of fish on bogs, shallow cabbage, docks. You're finding fish on other types of structure. Why don't you touch on that real quick?
Well,
Al?
just what you said, Jace. We're in that bent over, it's just coming to emerge out of the water, the wild rice. Bent over in a very hard stage. It doesn't offer enough cover for the fish to be into. They want to move back into heavier cover, especially when the light's out. And plus, try to throw it, the only thing you can do is throw a weedless spoon over the top till they blow out. That's how we catch them. But you notice what we're fishing right now? We're fishing a bog, and it's got an undercut. It's about 4 feet deep underneath, but they're sliding underneath that bog and laying right along the edge to deal with it. They're under docks. They're in the bulrushes with that dollar weed.
Now, when would you guess that wild rice will mature enough to where you'll start fishing it again?
About probably 3 weeks.
Okay,
You know,
right now it's about mid-June
yeah,
or so.
it's
So
mid-June.
by 4th of July, you'll be back in the wild rice.
Exactly right.
All right,
Yep.
let's get that fish in
Yeah.
the water. We'll catch another one.
Where he should have been. There he is.
Got him.
Oh, big fish.
All
Big
right, Al.
fish. Big fish. This time. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Let's see what you
Come
got
on,
here.
girl. Come on, girl. Coming in, coming in. Where are you at? Oh, coming down here, Jace.
Hit.
Boy, they got a lot of power. That's a pretty good fish.
That's a good one.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Here we go.
There, that's a beauty, Al. That's a beauty. Wow. That mouth is big enough where you could fit a spool of line in it.
That looks good. Healthy too right now. Yeah.
That is a beauty there.
Yeah.
Wow, these are quality fish. I mean, this is a nice average
That's
size.
a nice average size for Leech Lake. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know,
Yeah.
one thing we should point out too is in the last day and a half, probably had what, 4 or 5 inches of rain. Some pretty serious thunderstorms rolled through last night. There was thunder and lightning this morning. And so as a result, that's kind of changed our fishing strategy a little bit, in the sense that these fish are really buried in this cover. That's something we should touch on, is when you have this, you know, abrupt changes in weather, the fish will be buried in it and you got to go down after them. Whereas in stable weather, we could go over the top with weed and stuff and the fish will come up for it.
Right.
But these bass are hunkered down.
Very, very slow delivery. We're fishing actually with a Northland weed weasel, And then on that, we've got an impulse beaver. And what's nice about that is it's got a slow descent, but what we're letting it do is go down to the bottom, Jason, this case, like you said, slow it, and they're just hugging the bottom. And they're not far from the edge because we had all that thunder and lightning. And, I mean, that's the most rain we've had for a long time. The lakes come up. So
Yeah, you can tell these fish are holding pretty tight, but they are hitting.
They are hitting, yep.
All right, I'll let this fish go.
Yeah, we might have to. Jig, good thing you left it on, Jay.
There we go. Got him. Yep. All right.
Come on. Bass. Another good one.
All right, Al.
Jace. I'm not sure, but I think it is. Oh yeah, that's a nice fish.
That's a nice bass. I just had a pike
Yeah,
bite me off.
I see that. There's a good
nice
fish.
little there, Al. Wow.
Yeah, that's dandy there.
These are some beautiful
Woof.
fish. Look at that. Show you what we're using here. And this is just a phenomenal jig, which, you know, for fishing this thick cover, drops down fast. And let's touch on just these different weedless jig types, because that is such a key fishing these types of conditions.
That jungle jig has got the taper, you know, to be able to go down in it and swim through that stuff that's on the bottom. And it's really good, you know, in like the rushes of dollarweed stuff too, Jay, so you can swim it. But they, like we talked before, anything that's black and blue and purple has got something into it. These bass are relating to it. And this is one of the jig types that I use constantly. And it's got a rattle in it too, so we should talk about that. There's two little rattles.
Weed guard.
Yeah, and a stiff weed guard, which I trim back down. Take a scissors and we cut the top just so it's covering the top of it. Okay, and then make sure that you sharpen the hooks on, I don't care what one.
Yeah.
Because they just aren't coming out from the factory.
When you mean by tapered head, what he's talking about is just a narrowed down cone, almost like a bullet
like
shape.
a bullet.
'Cause they make football shapes, they make, you know, oblong shapes
Right.
for fishing rocks and timber, things like that. But for fishing weeds, just for
this is really
sliding down into
good
it.
for that. And then we
is the
take
key.
we talked about the football head, that you want in the rocks, where she'll roll and rock down, and that really works good in that one. Then there's another one that's kind of a round one, but doesn't have this tapered head. And to that one, they put the rattles a lot of times right into that body part there. And that's good for standing up a little bit higher. As you notice, this is tapered to go this way. Some that stand up like that, many times that'll trip their triggers too.
Absolutely. We'll get this fish back in the water. This is a beautiful fish. Wow. There's a fish. Yep, there I got him.
Good.
Got to get him out of that.
Yeah, it's got in there tight.
Isn't he?
Oh,
Oh,
nice fish.
yeah.
Nice fish.
There.
All right.
That fish was going for it, wasn't he? Just buried, and just a matter of trying to keep cranking on him. Yeah, these are beautiful fish.
Nice.
You know, let's touch on the fact too that what we're doing with these jungle jigs, we're putting just a craw imitator on. That's just impulse brush beaver is what that's called. But crayfish are such an important part of this ecosystem with these bass. I mean, granted, they're feeding on bluegills, young of the year perch. There's a lot of things for these fish to eat, but by and large, you cannot go wrong mimicking crayfish on this lake, can you?
No, and it's not only just bass. Walleyes are doing the same thing, pike too. But the bass can't turn it down, Jace. I've often wondered though, why is it the black-blue pattern? I think it's a shadow. You know, they see this hopping going along, they're not that fussy, they really rack it.
Oh, absolutely. If someone were to put a gun to your head on this lake and told you just use one color all day and never be able to change, it would be black and blue jungle jig with that craw imitator on the back. You just cannot go wrong with that. Black and orange, pumpkin seeds, browns, you know, other earth tone colors that imitate crayfish can be good, or imitate bluegills can be good, but boy, you cannot go wrong with black and blue.
No, that's exactly right. It's got that nice little flick in it. I mean, it really looks good. And those impulse claws really flap nice.
Yeah, you got the rattle shaking.
Working out good.
Let's get this fish in the water.
Yeah, good job. Got him.
There we go.
Good show. out there. All right, good, good.
Show yourself. Whoa! That fish has got some spunk to him, don't he?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Nice job, Jace.
All right. That is a beauty there.
There you go.
That is fun stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Never get tired of that. I'd like to thank you, Al. This is always a pleasure. This is one of my favorite things to do. Is
Well, that's great. I enjoy fishing
what a,
with you.
What a phenomenal bass fishing opportunity, though. I mean, so many bass, so much water. I mean, this lake can handle a lot of boats. Phenomenal resource, and you know, it is underutilized. I mean, there's more and more people getting into bass fishing all the time, but you go out here and you can definitely tell not nearly enough.
Yeah.
Great resource.
That part is true, and we do have more people coming every year, you know, and more tournaments are coming up out of here. The Classic has even been here in Elites. So, yep, and people can really enjoy it because if walleye bite isn't going on,
well, that's just it. This is a phenomenal walleye fishery, one of the best walleye fisheries in Minnesota, but wind isn't blowing, it's flat, you can't find the walleyes. You can always find some of these green critters that'll bite.
Exactly right.
We'll get this fish in the water. Thanks, Al. Thanks for being on today's show.
Thanks, Mike.